Hi, grade nines. Welcome to another wonderful week of homeschool learning. Hope you had a good Easter. Hopefully, the Easter Bunny still came to your house because he is not under quarantine. As you can see, today is week 3 of our homeschooling. This is lesson 4. Today is Tuesday, April 14th. This week, since there was no school on Monday, we are releasing this lesson today at 8:30 a.m. And then we have office hours today at 11:30 to 12:30 and again at 2:30 to 3:30. And then we will also be releasing our next lesson on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. and office hours again on Thursday at 11:30 a.m. and again at 2:30 p.m. All right, so what are we doing today? Today we're going to talk about energy conversions. There is an assignment that is going to go along with this, so make sure you're paying attention. So what do we already know? Well, there's lots of different kinds of energy. There's sound energy. Light is a type of energy. Radiant energy, that's all of that energy that comes from the sun. Chemical energy. So chemicals can be things that are in batteries, but also chemicals like food. Electrical energy, so electricity, which is really the whole purpose of this unit. Gravitational energy, so that's the force of gravity. Mechanical. Now, whenever we talk about mechanical in this unit, we're talking about movement. So if I eat a sandwich, which is chemical, it now gives me mechanical energy, the energy for my heart to beat, for my eyes to blink, for my brain to think. It also allows my body to make heat. So heat or thermal energy is another kind of energy. And then there's also nuclear energy, which we have discovered when we take uranium and we can make electricity. But I'll get into that later. So energy is what we say is the ability to do work. And this is a picture of James Joule. And James Joule is saying, I proved that both mechanical work and electricity produce heat. Because of this, scientists have named the unit of energy after me. So the unit of energy is called the joule. And I hate to tell you, but there's going to be some calculations coming up where we're going to have to calculate joules. So we're going to have to calculate energy. So there's different forms of energy. So here we've got a battery, a cell. This cell has got chemicals inside of it. So this is chemical energy. Electrical, very cute little picture here of somebody plugging in. That's electricity that's going to happen when you plug things in. So that's the movement of electrons. So we call that electrical energy. Mechanical, like I said, it's movement, moving. And thermal is another way of saying heat. But really what it is, to be very technical and scientific, it means the total kinetic energy of all the particles that are in a substance. Now, what we have next for you is a little, not quite 3-minute video, so it's really short. So please press pause, go back to the Google Drive, open up this slideshow, click on the 5th page, click play, okay? We want you to watch this, right? So I'll wait here. Go ahead, press pause. Okay, you're back. Wonderful. Hope you loved that video. With all these different kinds of energy, we can also use a number of devices that can convert one form of energy into another form. So like I was saying, when I eat a sandwich, it being my body is going to convert those chemicals in the sandwich that isn't actually in my hand that I'm miming. Delicious. It's going to take those chemicals and turn them into heat and also mechanical. Other ones here, you have this light bulb. So here's a picture of a light bulb. The light bulb works because of electricity. So it's going to take electricity and it's going to convert it into light. Here we have a pot on the stove. Now this is an electric stove. So this is a stove that works because of electricity. So you push a button. There's no gas coming out. This is an electric stove. So the electricity is going to heat up the burner on the stove. So that means it's electrical to thermal, because thermal means heat. And then over here we have a giant windmill. And I can't wait to do that lesson and explain all about how we generate electricity. But this is a windmill that's making electricity. So what's happening is it spins. And as it's spinning, it's moving. Moving is mechanical. And that movement is going to make electricity. Now, how do I convert electricity into heat? So one of the ways that we can make heat is, for example, here, this is one of those electric heaters you might have in your basement or in your garage, or maybe you might even have it in your bedroom if you have a colder room. Here's a toaster oven, and here's a picture of a blow dryer. Now, what's inside all of these things so that they can take the electricity when you plug them in, and then it will get hot? Inside of it is a resistor, and that's what it says right here. Heat is created when the current is going across the wire. All the wires get a little bit warm. But if you put in a resistor, it's slowing those electrons and they crash into each other. And when they do that, they're getting so much resistance that they heat up. Even if you just take your hands right now and you start rubbing them against each other really slowly, your hands get very hot very quickly. That's what it's like for the electrons. When they go across a resistor, they're slowing down so much that the resistor gets super hot and it will start to glow. And that's why sometimes in your blow dryer you can see it glowing, or in this heater here it is, or inside of the toaster you can see it is. How do I convert chemical energy into electrical energy? Well, chemical reactions that release electrical energy as a byproduct by moving ions. So that sounds very, very confusing. But basically what we're saying is that the chemicals that are inside of batteries, inside of cells, this is a picture of a wet cell. So the chemicals that are in here, what they do is they allow the electrons to flow, to move. So the chemicals are going to cause the electrons on these metals to move. How do I convert thermal energy into electrical energy? Well, this conversion is when you're going to take heat, and the heat is going to make electricity. So this is something called a thermocouple. Electricity is created when heat is given to two different metals that are wrapped together, or when heat is used to power a generator. So in this picture here, you can see a thermocouple. You've got two different metals over here. They get wrapped together. And what happens is that when they get hot, they're going to actually cause the electrons to flow in this wire, so they're making electricity. You have thermocouples in your stove at home, in your oven. Actually, I don't think they're in your stove, they're in your oven, and they're in cars as well. How do you convert chemical into mechanical? So here you've got this rocket ship blasting off into space. There's chemicals that are being released. What happens is we take the fuel that's inside and we ignite them. And those chemicals, when they do that, when they ignite, they cause the rocket to blast off into outer space. So in order to do that, that movement is because of the chemicals reacting. This is a picture of a motor. And that's exactly what happens for a motor. The chemicals, the gasoline that's in a car, they'll react, and then what they're going to do is they're going to cause that motor to move, and then that movement is going to get your tires to move. How can I convert chemical into thermal? Well, here's an example where there's fire going on. So this could be gasoline, and it's turning into heat. And here we have an instant hot pack. Sometimes we've gone skiing and we buy those little hot packs, and what you do is you crack them. And the chemicals that are inside, when they mix together, what happens is there's this reaction and it gives off heat. So that's exothermic. So here's an exothermic reaction where the chemicals mix together and they release heat, thermal energy. Mechanical to electrical. We talked about the windmill, but here's another mechanical to electrical. Here you have water going through a dam. Now, again, I'm going to explain dams and hydroelectricity later, but the idea is that when the water goes through, it spins this turbine. And when the turbine is spinning, it's moving. And that's going to create electricity. And I'll explain more in another lesson how it creates electricity. Converting electrical to light. Talked about that. Plug in a light bulb, the electricity goes through. It goes through the resistor, makes it warm, but it emits light. So it turns that electricity into light. One of the coolest inventions of the 20th century and now the 21st is taking light from the sun and from just lights, and then we're able to actually convert that into electricity. So here's a picture of a calculator. You might notice it has a little solar panel on it. Now these are becoming much more common, these solar panels in like a whole field. So we call that a solar array. These panels, what they can do is they can take the sunlight And they take that sunlight and convert it into electricity. And that's how we can power homes, we can power cars now, and for example, we can power this calculator. Converting electrical to chemical. This is what we love about cell phones. Cell phones have got a rechargeable battery in them, a secondary cell. Remember, we talked about that in section 1. So what happens is when that cell dies, we plug it into the wall. Electricity goes back and it refills up on the battery that's inside of our cell phone. And so it takes that electricity and it allows chemical reactions to occur, and then our phone will work again. Transformations involving chemical and electrical energy. So here's a whole bunch where it starts as one type of energy and then it changes to another type. So I talked about eating a sandwich. Well, here's eating an apple. And now this person has got energy to ride their bike. The chemicals inside of the battery are able to produce electricity, which is going to make light in our flashlight. We plug in the lamp and the electricity is going to allow the light to turn on. The gasoline is a chemical. We put that into a car and now it can move. The light energy can go into a plant and the plant can do photosynthesis and turn it into sugar. And so that's light to chemical. And then, I can't even see this one, sorry. My little video is blocking it. So here's your assignment. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 devices. What we want you to do is write down the starting form of the energy. So does a stove burner start out with chemical energy? Or does it start out with light energy? Or do you need electrical energy? And then once you give it that energy, what kind does it make when you turn it on? So what does it convert it to? So it's just like these examples and all of these other ones that we've been going through. So if you go to your own Google Classroom, so if you're in 9.3, you're going to go to your 9.3 Google Classroom. This sheet is posted there. So that way you can print it out. Now, if you don't have a printer, no problem. Just get a sheet of paper, copy them down. We'd like you to submit this assignment for us. So we want to see that you complete it. So take a picture of your answers and submit that for us. Now, before you do that, you might want to watch this handy little video about energy transformations. So explaining more of what I just did. And again, you just go back to the Google Slides, open up slide 18 and press play. And then you can watch this video. So once you finish watching the video, complete this handout, and then you'll also go back to your Google Classroom and you're going to notice that there is a project. All right. So the project is there under another tab. So you're just going to have to go click on it. You can open it up and print it, and then you're going to see what your project is. Now, feel free to come to the Google Meet today at 11:30 with Mrs. Amajar and myself. Or again, there's another one today at 2:30 to 3:30. And we can answer any questions about energy conversions. And we can also answer any questions about the project. All right? So if I don't see you today at the Google Meet, then I will see you on Thursday when I release the next lesson, which is about energy input and output. So again, we're going to start doing some calculations. So you are going to need a calculator. And then on Monday, because now we'll have a normal week again, on Monday I'll be releasing another lesson, and this one's going to have more math. It's going to be about efficiency and energy loss. Okay, so more math for you. Anyways, I hope you have a great day, and maybe I'll see you at the Google Meet. Bye, guys.